Good morning. So we'll start with fifth session on chapter diversity in living organisms. So in our previous session we completed the Plantae kingdom. We saw the different classifications and bifurcations in Plantae kingdom, right from the plants which germinate seeds or which produce seeds and flowers, or which do not produce seeds and flowers. So which produce seeds and flowers are known as phanerogams, which do not produce seeds and flowers are known as cryptogams. So we understood in detail about these two categories of plants and we completed the Plantae kingdom. Now let's move on to the last kingdom classification, that is Animalia kingdom. So in Animalia kingdom we have 10 subdivisions, or what we can say is we have 10 phylums in animal kingdom. Now what do you mean by phylum? Phylum is nothing but the further classification, sub-classification or levels in the classification. So which are these 10 levels in the classification and which we will be studying about in Animalia kingdom is Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Mollusca, Annelida, Arthropoda, Echinodermata, Protochordata, Nematoda and Vertebrata. The names are quite complex, but it has to go in this order only. Now why this order? Because these animals or these organisms are found by evolution, which are found one level or one organization after the other. That means first level, second level, third level, they have been evolved from each and every level. That is why we have classifications, what we call them as a phylums, which has to go in order. So first is, I repeat, Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Mollusca, Annelida, Arthropoda, Echinodermata, Protochordata, Nematoda and Vertebrata. Now what we have to learn, or what we have to learn in this phylums, few terms what we have to understand first, then it will be easy for us to learn about this and remember the things about these organisms. Now what are those basic terms? For example, first we have to understand the body type of these animals or these organisms. Now what do you mean by a body type? Now when I talk about a body type, we all have two body types. Not we all, organisms have two body types. One is bilateral and another is radial. Now for example, so assume that this is our body. We draw a circle. So if I assume that this is our body, okay, just assume. So if I divide it exactly, that means if I divide it into half, I get exactly one half to my other side and another half to this side, right? So if I divide it in this way, I do not get equal parts. But if I divide it this way, I get equal parts into my right side and equal part onto my left hand side, right? So that type of division is called as bilateral symmetry. In art or drawing, you have a freehand drawing, what they call, right? You draw it on one side, fold the paper and just rub it, and when you open that, you get the similar one on the other side, right? That's a freehand drawing or whatever you call. So it is nothing but in science what we call that as a bilateral symmetry. That means I get equal half here and equal half here. Now we have to identify each of these organisms falls under which category, what type of a body type do they have. Now next is radial. Now radial means, suppose if this is a body type, it can be divided equally. We get equal parts each and every time. So the best example here if I can give is a starfish. Right? So if I divide this 1, 2, 3, 4, that means I get so many axes here, but each part is the same. That is called as a radial symmetry. Now this was just an example for bilateral symmetry. I took it as a human beings, and radial symmetry I took it as a starfish, right? So we understand the body type, which is divided in terms of bilateral symmetry and radial symmetry. Next, we have to understand about the germ layer. Now germ layer is not something germs what we are talking about. Germ layer is the layer of our body. Now for example, if I have to tell, now our body type how it is. So we have a skin, right? That is the first layer what we talk about. Then below the skin what we have? Yeah, we have studied this in tissues chapter. We have bones, we have muscles, right? Again after that what do we have? We have organs, right, which are located in them. That means our body has 3 layers, correct? We have one skin, then we have a middle layer, then we have an end layer. So based on the germ layers, we again differentiate these organisms. That means we differentiate them in terms of diploblastic and triploblastic. That means diploblastic means they have only 2 germ layers. Triploblastic means they have 3 germ layers. That means we animals, that is higher order animals, human beings, will come under triploblastic. That means we have exoderm, that is our skin. We have mesoderm, that is what you can say is our cardiac muscles, bones, etc. Then we have endoderm, that are nothing but the organs which are located. Now in diploblastic, what do we have? We have only exoderm and endoderm. We do not have a mesoderm there. So depending on this germ layer, we again classify them, right? We move on to the next one. We again understand about the coelom. Coelom is nothing but, or it is called as a cavity. Now, this is not the cavity what you have in your tooth, right? That cavity is different. So, what do this cavity means is, for example, in our body, we have several cavities. That means we have a space for our kidneys, we have a space for our heart, we have a space for our digestive system, for our brain. We have space for different organs, right? That is called as a coelom. So, there again we have 3 classification. That is something where there is no cavity, there is a false cavity, and there is a true cavity. Now, what do you mean by this? No cavity means organisms do not have any cavities at all. That means there is no defined space, right? Such type of organisms will come under, we'll again discuss in this table, acoelomate cavity, acoelomate types. Organisms which have a false cavity. False cavity means they do not have a cavity but it looks like a cavity. Such a type what we study them under pseudocoelomate. Now pseudo means what? False. Pseudocoelomate we study. Organisms which have a true cavity, that is nothing but coelomate. Now for example, if I have to tell you, we have one big hall, right? So it is called as a no cavity. That means that hall, or you want to convert that into a house, but that does not have a living room, bedroom, dining room, kitchen room. It's complete one open hall, no cavity. False cavity. Now you have one big hall, you just put some dividers and make them as a living room, bedroom and a kitchen. But actually there is no cavity, right? You have created some false cavity. That is how it is called as true cavity. A house which has all its own space. Say for example, it has a bedroom, kitchen and dining room. It is called as a true cavity. So we differentiate the organism in terms of this coelom, that is cavity. So acoelomate, pseudocoelomate and coelomate. We'll study that. Next, we study them based on the segmentation. Now, what is the segmentation? So, in case if you have seen an earthworm, so do you see any segments in earthworm? Lines or anything? No, right? It is plain. But when we see a mosquito, do you see some segments or the line-like structure on them? Small line-like structure, right? That is called as segment. So, we again differentiate them in terms of segmentation. How many segments it has? And the last one, we understand them in terms of skeleton. That is, do they have exoskeleton or endoskeleton? Now, what do we human beings have? We have endoskeleton. That means we have our skeletal system inside our body, right? Now, then what do you mean by exoskeleton? Or some hard layer. Now, when I mean by exo and endoskeleton, hard or a hard substance. Now, for example, snail has a hard covering outside, right? That has a exoskeleton. Fishes have scales outside the body, exo it comes. Turtle have a shell outside the body, comes under exo. So we will differentiate these organisms in these basic terms and we understand them better, right? So now we'll move on to the flow chart of the animal kingdom, how exactly we are going to study each and every part in this. So animal kingdom is basically classified in terms of cellular level of organization and tissue level of organization. Now, what do you mean by cellular level of organization? All the functions of the particular organisms or a particular thing is carried out by a single cell only, right? Tissue level organization, excuse me. What happens here is group of cells forms a tissue, right? So these tissues will carry the functions of the body, what you can say. So on these two bases, we divide the animal kingdom, right? So under these two kingdoms, all these categories, that is 10 phylums will come. Where do they come? Let us first understand. Under cellular level of organization, the first one comes as Porifera. That means it is the very lowest level of organization. So we study Porifera under the first level of organization. Next, under tissue level of organization, we bifurcate them in terms of xylem, that is in terms of cavity. Acoelonate, pseudocoelonate and coelonate. That is, they have no cavity. Organisms which do not have cavity, which have a false cavity and which has a true cavity. Now, organisms which do not have cavity, which organisms will come here? Coelenterata and Platyhelminthes. These two, which we have jotted down here, right? Next, under pseudocoelomate, which comes Nematoda, that is the ninth phylum what we have studied, that comes under pseudocoelomate. Now, under coelomate, which has a true cavity, again there we have bifurcation. What is that? Mesodermal cells form a single cell during growth of embryo and coelom formed from pouches pinched off from endoderm. We will understand these two in detail when we study about coelomate, but here briefly to explain you about this, mesodermal cells forms a single cell during growth of embryo. So this one cell will start performing, or the one cell only will start dividing further and forms a mesodermal cavity there. That is, mesodermal cavity is cavities for all the things to be present. Wherein here, coelom formed from pouches. They already pouches are formed. Pouches means cavities are already formed. As soon as the growth of an embryo further starts, pouches are already formed there for the organs. So we only understand in brief in this part about these two. We will understand this in detail when we actually study about the coelomate in this chapter. Okay. Now, further, this mesodermal cells which forms a single cell during growth of embryo, which makes it to divide further and further, are which type of organisms here? Mollusca, Annelida and Arthropoda will fall under this. There, coelom formed from pouches pinched off from endoderm, which all comes. There we have again two where notochord is absent and notochord is present. Now, what is this notochord? Notochord is a cartilaginous structure which runs from the nervous system to the gut lining, or it is in further or in the adults what it happens is it forms a vertebral column, what you can see. Or simple to understand, notochord is nothing but a hard substance, cartilaginous substance which gives a support, a rod-like structure, what you can see. Okay. There again, here we have two classification where notochord is absent and notochord is present. Now, one thing you understand here, when we are doing this flow chart, we only understand the terms what it is, so that we will know what we are supposed to do in this lesson. When we go about each organisms, we will be doing it in detail, right? So, when notochord is absent, we have seventh one, that is echinodermata. And if notochord is present, that means that is a chordata. Now, notochord present is called as a chordata. Again, chordata has two types, that is vertebrata and protochordata. Under vertebrata, you have Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Apes, Mammalia. That is, under vertebrata, we study about Pisces, example fishes, Amphibia, example frog, Reptilia, example crocodiles, Apes, example birds, and Mammalia, that is we complex or higher level of animals, that is human beings, other animals, etc. So this is whole about animal kingdom, where we discuss about each level of organization. That is, we discuss about all these 10 phylums in detail, right? So in today's class, we only understood about what is kingdom Animalia, what are its 10 phylums, that is, what are its 10 subdivisions, and what are the terms we are supposed to study in the subdivisions. That is, we are supposed to know its body type, germ layer, then coelom, segmentation and skeleton. Based on these terms, we are going to differentiate these organisms, right? And how are these terms or how are these classified or divided? Based on this, we have just written in this flowchart. So in today's class, if you have any doubt, you can call on the same day of the video set. About these organisms in detail, we'll be doing it in our next class. Thank you.